we got why I quit creating content and why you should start from your boy Devin Nash. So I've been watching Devin Nash for a couple years now, and I'm at least smart enough to know when Devin says something, uh, it is probably backed by some actual knowledge and experience. So I just wanted to hear real quick what he has to say.
So by now you've probably seen a lot of creators do these kind of, oh, I'm back, I'm doing more content, or I'm leaving content, I have so much money I don't care type of videos,
Mm-hmm.
announcement videos, things like that. They get on a camera, and they just talk about their life or whatever. That is this video, but I'm doing it and disguising it as a kind of thing that I want to get you thinking about a concept I'm going to challenge you to do as well. And that challenge is around content creation. Actually, before I even talk about what that is, I want to talk about content creation. That's the word that you hear all over the place now. Everything is content creation.
Yeah.
I hate that word. I hate content creation. I hate that entire concept.
So I'm completely clueless. I mean, my understanding was that content creation was just some random dude or person, whatever, girl, guy, don't matter. Some random person just takes a camera, gets in front of it, gets a microphone, and you just talk about some shit that you think you know about. And for the most part, that's pretty much it. Like simplified. Obviously there's a little bit more behind it with like script writing and uh just everything really. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind it. I just do like the lazy thing and just watch other people's videos for fuck's sake and just try to have a conversation with myself.
I hate it because I don't even know how the industry adopted this word, but it's like one of my least favorite words to describe what's actually happening. Like content creation feels so soulless. It feels
Content creation feels soulless. I mean, at the end of the day, what are we doing on YouTube or whatever platform? We're just consuming content. We're just trying to be entertained. I mean, that's really what it is. Everybody's just consuming. You're either consuming or you're creating. For the longest time, I would just consume, and then I would grow like unhappy, and I couldn't really explain it why for whatever reason. But I think it was like they're like watching like a Devon stream or something, where he made the comparison of do you consume too much or do you create, and do you create nothing? So I was like, oh, if I want to be a little bit more happy, I should probably start creating something, even if it's like nothing, whatever. You'll feel a little bit more fulfilled because you're fulfilling that little like creative part of your brain that I think a lot of people just miss out on in life.
like you're just trying to create the most entertaining or consumable thing possible. And it puts this uh, have and have not relationship where like creators are creating content and you are the consumer. You're
Yeah.
consuming this content. And because you're consuming this content, you implicitly have this lesser importance than the creator. And the creator creates.
Uh I never really thought of it as one is more important than the other because you can't have one and not the other. I mean, it's to get like semi deep or whatever. Like if someone's making content and no one's watching it, well, then what's the point of keeping making on content and shit? Likewise, if there are people that want to watch something but nobody's making it, that situation isn't being like fulfilled either. So like you have like two situations where the creators need people to watch their shit, and then the consumers need shit to watch. And I use the word need very specifically because I think entertainment is, for most people, it's a need. It has become a need to be entertained.
creating this content is just creating the most viewable or most viral thing possible.
Yeah.
And as we've kind of gotten more into like content creation being the norm of the type of content that people make, because I think most people make content to get the most amount of engagement and views possible, that has always rubbed me the wrong way. And I also don't think it is the best way to become successful.
I mean, again, I mean, a lot of the videos I make, they're just like React slash. Yes, they are React videos, but I try to keep it like more conversational. Like the audience for that is probably not as much compared to like a Mr. Beast video where everything is so algorithmically precise. There's like a cut every 6 seconds. The color saturation's amped up a little bit. Everybody's got on I don't know, what do you call it, like the act of like being more enthusiastic than they have to be and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a reason why Mr. Beast has like hundreds of millions of subscribers, because he's really good at what he does. He's really successful, and a lot of people want to watch that type of stuff. So, yeah.
I just am kind of over the whole like, you guys won't believe this content I have for you, or this show we've set up, or whatever. I have so much content.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason he's like, oh, Devin's making a semantic argument. No. I'm a marketer, right? And words have a lot of power. Words can dictate the entire world to change. So I do think that content creation as a word is something that we should think about. And I'd really like to call it what I think it should be, which is storytelling. Storytelling is something different. It's something that's been with us for generations, and telling stories is how we relate to each other. You might tell a story to your mom or dad. You might tell a story to your significant other. You're telling a story throughout the day. Everything in life is exchanges of stories to kind of try to convey our own personal experience of the world, our unique experience, to other people, so that it can be a shared experience, whether it be to grow them, to have more lessons, to become better as a whole. And really everything that drives us as a civilization is storytelling. And to the extent that we can tell stories among each other, we can kind of get closer to each other, and we can work together to achieve these greater heights. So I want to talk a little bit about storytelling and why I stopped creating content, and why I think you should start storytelling.
Oh. So there's probably, like, if someone says the words content creation and then someone says the words storytelling, different things will rattle off for each category. So, I mean, he already said it pretty much. Like, content creation feels soulless, and it's just like, you guys won't believe this happened to me. It's like specifically using the word this. Like, you won't believe this. This is the best meta build for this video game. This is the best that. This is the best whatever. Whereas storytelling has a beginning, middle, and end. Like a beginning, a build up, like a climax, and then like a resolution. And I think each different type of, I don't know, category caters to like different audiences, pretty much. I understand that Devin is probably about like 30 something or whatever. So I'm 30 something. So most likely your taste in content will probably change as you get older. I mean, when I was a young kid, I used to love watching like bum fights and just homeless people beating the shit out of each other. All sorts of shit. You know, the Kimbo Slice videos where he's in the backyard just like making guys go to sleep with like one hit and shit. And watching like degenerate type of content. Yeah, but I mean, you fast forward to like right now, and well, there will be random times where I might go back and watch like some sort of degenerate content. That's not like the main content I would probably consume now. I mean, I don't know. It's like my want for that type of content has been fulfilled, and now I'm just looking for something else. That's why I use the word, use the phrase, you need to be entertained, because you never stop wanting to be entertained. You know, if you're living in, I don't know, like America, and you have like a decent job or something, something where you're making like 40, 50K a year at least. You got like a house, a car, or whatever, and you just want to be entertained. I mean, you can thank smartphones for that. You can be entertained while at your job, doing whatever, at any time, at all times.
And why I'm going to start storytelling again. Starting with some of the reasons as to why I stopped, okay? So to do that, we're going to switch screens, go to the fancy notepad, and I think that a lot of people, whether you've kind of created content or you've made a video or wrote an article or something, might be able to relate to this. So why I stopped, okay? I'm going to give you the most boring reason first, and that's just time, company focus. So a lot of people know that this is not my full-time job. It's not going to become my full-time job. It never will be my full-time job.
It's a side hustle.
I think I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why I think it should not be most people's full-time job, including mine, in the near future on this video. But for now, I have been blessed enough, been lucky enough to get to a point where I'm pretty much financially free. That happened after we sold Counterlogic Gaming, which is the esports team that I worked with, and following that and the work that we've done with my now current agency, marketing agency at Novo, I basically just don't have to work. So I was working really hard at Novo, and I have been. That was taking most of my time, and I felt like,
I don't know. That's kind of crazy to think that, like, and this is just like a me thing, but like I'm about the same age as Devin, and it's like he's financially free, and I'm still like stuck in a whatever job. It's like, what? Like, I can't help to think about like, what did I do wrong? I mean, I have no one to blame but myself about any like sort of like life choices or me floundering on school or anything like that. But I don't know. Anytime I see someone that's like my own age and they're just like so much more financially free, I'm just like, Jesus, I really fucked up.
Like creating content was going to take away from the core mission of providing value to brands and doing advertising campaigns. So I stopped doing it. I felt, though, that there was a kind of hole in myself during that time where I was like, man, I wish I was kind of doing more, but I didn't really quantify it. So time was the first one. The second one is more interesting. It's the hardest one for me to personally talk about, but I'm going to do it because I think there needs to be a record of it. I think people need to know, and that's fear. Yeah, I'm actually really kind of scared to do these videos. When I was a live streamer,
I would say most people that start content creation are probably afraid that they're going to say something stupid and they don't know how the rest of the world's going to take it. That's probably it, because that's I mean, that's like a fear that I have. I'm probably going to say something stupid either every other sentence or every other paragraph, most likely. And it's like, oh, there's like something in the back of my head where it's like, should you say the thing that panders to the most amount of people, or should you just say your own thought? And most of the time, I'm just like, I'm just gonna say whatever I really think. So, I mean, the whole fear factor thing, I think that's true for a lot of people. And if someone says they don't fear it, it's probably because they're really financially free, or they're lying.
From 2018 to 2020, I streamed, somewhere north of like 250 streams a year.
That's a lot.
And it was really easy because live streaming has a sort of ephemeral quality to it, by which I mean that it is going to go away. I don't think many people end up watching live streams after, and most people that are watching live streams are kind of consuming content. They're in a kind of consuming content mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't want to, or don't retain a lot of the information that doesn't kind of come back to haunt you. Not so with YouTube videos where, like, especially this channel's goal, which is education and bringing issues to the fore, people take a lot more seriously, and I get referenced a lot in some of the YouTube work that I've made.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching so many goddamn YouTube videos. If someone wants to go off on, like, a riff or something, they always mention Devin Nash, because for some reason, well, not for some reason, there are obvious reasons, but Devin just knows his shit. when it comes to the whole streaming stratosphere, atmosphere, and everything. If Devin wants to say something and chirp up, people are going to listen.
People kind of tend to remember when people come up to me or talk to me or something. They usually reference YouTube videos or things, but very rarely live streams. So I started to get a fear of creating videos, and I think that comes down to like a fear of judgment, because you get a lot of negative comments. I mean, anything that you're going to put out into the world, you're going to get feedback on. That feedback might be negative. I tend to take the extreme side of a lot of things, especially in tech, and I also talk about a lot of things that are unrealized yet, and so people have really strong opinions on those. And so I started to get afraid that no one would really want to hear what I had to say. Maybe I'd been gone so long that I didn't really understand what the value of the things that people cared about was, or maybe my takes are just so bad that I just don't have anything useful to say.
And I think that's a suffering from success type of thing. I mean, everybody is afraid of being judged. That's not like a specific thing. No one really want to hear what I had to say. I don't know if he's like kind of edging on the fact that he's afraid of saying that, like, he's afraid of seeming out of touch because he was so successful at a young age. Because in general, people, like the massive amounts of people, don't really. This is gonna sound stupid. Most people don't really, like, if someone sees like a rich person and they're like 50 or 60, it's like, oh wow, he probably built up a business or something, or whatever. Maybe he invested in like a 401k and now he's just like chilling on like $1 million or something like that. He's got like a pension, retirement, or maybe he started a business and he's just like really driven. He's like, or girl, guy, don't matter. But then when you put all of that money and success into someone that's just wholly younger, then everybody starts to question, well, hang on, wait a sec. You can only really start working if like you're 16. If you work like 20, 30 years, maybe you get like a pension then. It's like, well, shit, if you're like about 30-ish, it's like you haven't really worked long enough to get like a pension or 401k, then you haven't really. It's like people start to ask questions of like, how did you make your money? And then that's the part where people become like reluctant about, because honestly, it's nobody's business on how like you make your money. It's really not. But there's that air that just comes with it that nobody really wants to address. So I kind of get it if he doesn't want to like talk about that thing. I mean, just it is what it is, really.
And people might tell me, well, you've been a successful business person, you've sold multiple companies, like maybe there's some value there. But who knows?
Yeah.
Like maybe that just means that I can't relate back to people that have not done that, and I can't really provide value.
Yeah.
And I think I still have this fear. I haven't beaten it. I'm going to have this fear uploading every single video that I make from now on out, and from coming back, and some of the announcements I'm going to make later in this video. Going to be scary.
I mean, if you're that scared of seeming out of touch, you could always do the Asmongold thing, and you purposely live like how he lives in order to seem more relatable. You could do that, but I don't know. That's not gonna happen. The fear of seeming the fear of appearing out of touch. I can't really relate to that. If I'm gonna be honest, I mean, shit. I just got back from Walmart and I saw like so many people riding in that little wheel cart. I see so many fat people like barely being able to get up out of their little wheel cart, or old people walking with canes and shit. It's like I'm just surrounded by, I don't know, just regular ass people. This is just where I live.
Scared of that. Maybe you can relate to me, maybe not. And then the third reason and final reason is There was a little bit less, but this is a negative parasocial thing, and I want to talk about it a little bit. I felt like things got too personal, especially live streaming, and people started to care a little too much about my personal life. You tend to attract. The person that probably said this the best was Tim Ferriss. He's a really renowned blogger. You describe your community as like a city. Let's say that you have like 100,000 people in your city that follow you, subscribe, or whatever to varying degrees. You're going to have 2 or 3 of those people waving their dick at traffic. They're just the crazy people, because that's just like when you take a standard population of people and you get enough of them, there's going to be people with extreme sides of mental expression.
There's always the one guy who's got to whip his dick out when he's crossing the road. There's always one. Always. There's always one.
Disorder. So I felt like I was attracting, but those are typically really loud personalities. So I was just attracting a lot of weird stuff, and it started to manifest in my real life, and I wasn't really prepared for that.
Damn.
I also think that a part of that too was me, because I would tell people about my personal life, which is going to change. That's going forward in like live streaming and things like that. I'm not going to talk anything about like my family or stuff like that. I'm just going to keep it to like business and things like that. But this was a big factor, and it's especially a really big factor for women, unfortunately. It's something we don't talk enough about. I've made several videos about, but women have this to the absolute extreme, at least as like a dude.
Yeah, if you thought dudes were weird to you, like in regular day, just average goings on, bro, like I went to the gym, and bro, some dudes at the gym just got like a damn chip on their shoulder. And they'll say some dumb shit to you in some stupid way, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm a dude. I can't imagine being a girl and having that same energy like imposed on me from like another guy. Because like as a guy, having like someone try to impose themselves on you, it's like, you ain't gonna do shit, dude. You know, there's that little thing in the back of your head. But like, I couldn't imagine that shit being a girl. And, you know, having to wiggle your way out of a conversation, or, you know, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend. I thank you, though, you know, just please go. Bro, I was at the gym one time, and, bro, I'm doing my cardio. I see this, like, 60-year-old dude talking to this young little 20-something-year-old girl. And she was like attractive, but I'm sitting there. I do like 30 minutes of cardio, and for about 20 to 25 minutes, they're just sitting there talking. I'm like, Jesus, is she really enjoying the conversation that much from this old guy? Damn. Maybe it was like a mutual conversation, but dang, she couldn't like wiggle her way out of that one. But whatever.
They don't get like literally preyed upon. This is a massive problem, especially in gaming. Negative parasocial thing. I understand this is not going to go away, and it's kind of just a trade-off for what you kind of have to do if you are going to go into this field. Now, that sounds like a lot of reasons why that are good, maybe good reasons why I stopped creating. And now you might be interested. Well, why am I going to start again?
Time, company focus, fear. I mean, whether or not the reason is good or bad, I mean, it's entirely up to you. Whether, you know, because all of these will be negated on whether or not you want to do it. If you want to do it, you will do it. If you don't want to do it, you will not do it. It's the same thing with quitting smoking. It's the same thing with quitting binge drinking alcohol. It's the same thing with, what do you call it, trying to lose weight or something. For everything to happen, you need to want to do it in the first place, despite all of these excuses.
Especially since if I have these problems solved, like, what, did he blow all of his money at the poker table? Does he need subscriber revenue and everything? Like, no, like I'm still completely comfortable, totally fine. But I want to share with you some of the reasons that I'm coming back, and some of the reasons simultaneously that I hope you can relate to, that you should consider doing some content creation, or actually specifically storytelling. And I want to define for you what that means. It doesn't mean I want you to become a full-time content creator. I want you to do something different, and hear me out. Before we do that, though, on the why we should start section, you're 9 minutes and 21 seconds into a Devin Nash video. That means 9:21 is the secret call out. Real quick, thank you everybody for being here and for listening to this announcement. You're probably attached to this channel in some way. You've probably heard about it before, so I really appreciate you coming here. I don't ask anything for these videos. They'll always be free. You can go to my Patreon where I make additional videos, and for $5, I think, or something, patreon.com/DevinNash, we have over 250 videos there that are at least 30 minutes long each of just me talking about business and marketing. I basically kept making stuff on that channel when I took a break here, and it was mostly around like just stuff that I learned in business, and it's really valuable stuff. If you're interested in business and marketing and want to learn more about that, you should go check out the Patreon. The second thing is I am running Novo, which is a full-time advertising agency for large brands. If you are a large brand and want to come talk to us, just hit me up at my email address or go to novo.tv and contact us. I'll get on a call with you and we'll see if we can do some advertising together. That's it. Let's talk about why
maybe one day
start and why everyone should start. So why everyone should start and why I'm coming back. The number one reason is there will never be a period of time in the future where I don't regret creating valuable things. And I want to emphasize creating valuable things. There would be a time in the future where I regret creating content. So if I am just continuously looking at YouTube, what's the meta? What does everybody want to talk about? Oh, let's react to this streamer doing this. Let's react to this YouTuber doing this. Let's react to this person doing this. That's will the meta. Not create a library of stuff that I am proud of.
That is the forever meta. React content. He hits the nail on the head real quick.
But if I or you have an expertise or a story to tell, and you want to write an article about it, or you want to make a video about it, that is something that I don't think you can ever regret doing. That if you have tried legitimately to provide value to other people, whether it be educationally or entertainment-wise, remember, like, value is not just like, entertainment's fine. Like, you make people laugh, and everything like that. If that's your objective, you get up every day to try to make people laugh. Hey, some of the greatest people in the world are those people. That's our stand-up comedians. That's people that kind of guard the frontier of civilization against becoming too PC or whatever.
Yeah.
They're important people. So there is, if what you have to create is funny and you just want to make people laugh, you want to have people do better days, that's great. In my case, I want to create things that really make people think.
And I think that's both of them are pretty hard. I was going to say like one's harder than the other, but I don't really think one is more hard or more better than the other. I think like everyone should start making content or telling stories, but what are the stories that people only want to see? Well, the only things that people want to see are from people that have an expertise to begin with. And I just don't think a lot of people want to put the time and effort into having an expertise in the first place, to then create content from their expertise. I mean, creating content is like the thing you do after you have an expertise in a thing. And I don't think the point of this video is to tell you what expertise you should do. I mean, because that's, only up to you. Only you can dictate what you want to do. But I think that's like a better square one to figure out what you want to do first, like have an expertise first.
Turn people on to issues they might not have thought about before, and also personally empower them to be better and more successful in their business and their personal lives. That would be great for me. That's kind of my version of this happiness. And if I try to create those valuable things, regardless of viewership and regardless of what happens, because I'm blessed enough, this kind of gets into reason number 2, to not worry about that, then great, I want to do that. And that kind of goes to the second point, which is I believe I have an obligation, and obligation is a pretty important word, pretty big word, to create, because I have a blessed life, and you probably do too if you're English speaking, and you are on a computer.
Yeah.
Then you've been afforded many things that other people don't have, and you probably have a ability to upload something to YouTube or write something on a blog or something like that that would be interesting to somebody else to read and consume. Because if you remember, what I talked about was storytelling. Storytelling is really the ability for all of us to share our unique experiences together so that we can kind of all simultaneously grow with those experiences. And so for that reason, I think that people who have had blessed lives, and actually people that like, if you're in a third world country, you can get in front of a computer. Some of those are the most interesting stories of all.
Oh, yeah.
But those people may not have the ability to do those things. They maybe just be walking several miles a day to get water. So if you're in a position where you can teach, where you can share your experiences and your skills, and you've been gifted or you've been blessed or you've worked for, either way, that kind of life, I think you should share it. And by proxy, I think I should share it. And I use the word obligation, meaning that I kind of believe that I have a responsibility to do this.
That's pretty cool.
That if something I say can be useful, then I ought to talk about it.
I think that's a really great idea, to think that you must do something. I mean, he used the word obligation. So, like, I don't think I must create videos for my own, I don't know, personal fulfillment. I mean, I don't know. I think I just do it just so I can have some sort of like creative outlet and some sort of control in my life. Besides, like going to the gym is like another thing. I have like a little bit of control over my life. Because a lot of the times, if I'm not at the gym or not creating a video, it feels like I have no control. But with the job I have, I think I'm like pretty lucky. Like while I'm at my job, I feel like I have like really no control. But then I have time off from the job, and then it's like, oh, I don't have to worry about shit until I have to go in the next time. And you know, to be fair, I probably could be doing more. As far as like trying to like, I don't know, maybe I could have a second job. But if I was like in a worse situation, maybe I would need that second job. But I mean, I just have like the one job, and it's, you know, I pay whatever bills I need to pay, and I'm good. But yeah, I feel like as far as like the I must do the thing, the only time I feel, the only aspect of my life where I feel like I must is like the gym. Like the gym is, for me, is, it's like hygiene. It's like going to brush your teeth. Yeah, I could like, I do like, I go to the gym and I see like my like regular gym acquaintances there. It's like you give them the up nod because you're just there so goddamn much. Versus like the down nod, where it's like the down nod is like I respect the thing, and then eventually if you see somebody enough, you give them the up nod, and then you know, you start to bullshit in kibbutz and all that shit. But I don't know. I just feel like I must go to the gym because I don't know. I feel like a piece of shit if I don't go to the gym. As far as like content creation goes, like, oh, Cornel, why don't you be like a fitness YouTuber, bro? It's like, bro, there's already so many other fitness YouTube dudes where it's like that shit is so oversaturated. But bro, React content is so oversaturated. Well, yeah, that too. But I mean, I don't really give a shit. So I'm just gonna keep on yapping about dumb shit. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it.
Next one is a long one, and that is that every story is interesting, and storytelling is literally the basis, kind of going back to the first thing, of human development / evolution. I talk about societal evolution, right? Whether you tell a story to a friend, spouse, whoever, your community, it makes you a better person to share ideas and hear feedback from others. And one of
I think this part of telling a story to a friend, spouse, whoever in the community, uh, and with that whole feedback thing, I think that's a really big key, and should be like bolded, because a lot of the times, even though like we're in like the golden age of the internet, where it's like everybody can talk to anybody at any time on whatever platform, as much as we have we're like a single degree or two of separation away from talking to whoever, I think we are still so like far from each other in the same respect, because you have like a little window on your phone to see whatever you want. You can just do anything. It's like a blank canvas, and to have like every little bit of information and person like at the beck and whim of like a DM or an email or something, and to not utilize it, it makes you feel like, damn, what am I doing wrong? And then to go through that mind like process every day of, oh shit, what should I do? I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Oh, I don't know how to do this. I should be looking at how to do it up on YouTube or Google or ChatGPT or whatever. And as much as the internet can bring people together, it still feels that everyone chooses to separate and stay inside their own little echo chamber, if that makes sense.
One of the things that I want to avoid, and something I have seen with, quote, content creators and that sort of thing, is echo chambers are really scary.
Oh shit!
So those of you that have followed my channel or maybe
I
know me more
pre-watched the
personally,
video.
I'm a very devout Zen Buddhist, and I think Zen is interesting because it focuses on trying to distill yourself, your thoughts, your ideas, and the ideas around you down to the closest and core truth of those ideas that is possible. Like how to the business equivalent of this is first principles thinking. So how do we think about something in its base form with the least amount of emotion attached and the least amount of like extra dogma attached? I'm worried about echo chambers, and I see a lot of my friends, especially as they gain like prominence or power, fall into these categories where they have maybe unwillingly entered a place where they don't realize that their view of the world is extremely secular, meaning that they basically just have one way of looking at things. And you probably have friends like this, and
Yeah.
you probably know people like this, where they only see one side of the spectrum, whether it be politically,
Yeah.
whether it be opinion-wise, whether it be PC versus console, like whatever it is.
I think that comes from people wanting to just be a part of a group and wanting to feel accepted. That's all that is. It's not anything crazy. As much as some people would like to consider themselves the lone wolf, there's also another side of that same person that also wants to feel accepted, whether or not they are a content creator or not. I see this at my job. I see this at the gym. I see this at Walmart. Yeah, people just want to feel part of a group, because most of the time people probably feel like they're like lonely, and everybody knows at the end of the day, whenever you go to breathe in that last breath, you die alone. Hopefully it's like with like around some friends or family, best case scenario, but for the most part, yeah, everybody dies alone.
I'm really terrified of that reality. And I think the more that you are willing to go out there, and that brings us to the last reason, which is and beat fear. The more that you're willing to do that, the more that you float ideas, it makes you stronger, more informed, challenged. And I think all those things are really important for a human being. So if you put something out there and it gets a bunch of negative comments, like you're wrong, like this is bad, or things like that, then the correct, like the human response to it is like to fold back into yourself and be like, oh, I don't want to create anything else because people won't like it or something will happen.
Well, I think that's content brain kicking in. Like knee jerk reaction. If like I make something and someone's like, "You're wrong," I mean, I would want to hear like why I'm wrong. Like if I just said something wrong because I was just like ignorant of a thing, well then, okay, I didn't know. My bad. But if I was wrong because somebody just simply thinks something differently, I'm at least open to hearing why they think the way they think. I think it's more important to have good reasons why you think what you think, not just what you think.
And people will be angry. And I think I kind of fell victim to that, at least as far as videos go. And so to beat fear, though, and to become stronger and more informed, you have to be in the marketplace of those ideas. You have to reach out to other people and talk to them. Some of the most unfortunate parts of like social media is that we have a lot of really intelligent people who no longer go outside or share their ideas, and they participate in these sort of social media echo chambers because you can find a niche for any belief system that you might have.
Oh yeah.
No matter what. And there will be a group of people who will uniformly support you and push out invaders and anyone that tries to enter into that sphere of thinking. And if you are in one of those, or you know people that are in them, the best thing to do is challenge yourself by looking at the opposite arguments and trying to understand where those people come from.
Oh yeah.
So I know that opening myself up to creating more stuff will put me back into that marketplace of ideas, and thus it will put me back under that criticism. But I think that will make me a better and stronger person overall.
And I think everybody should be doing that. But the issue arises when you start to explore yourself in public and you put yourself out there and then you say some dumb shit. And then it's like, oh, well, this is who I really am. And who you really are, not a lot of people like you for whatever reason, for whatever thing. Like, oh, Xbox is better than PlayStation, PlayStation better than Xbox, oh, PC better than either of them. But what about Nintendo? Whatever. Like speaking to one person, like in a one-on-one like instance, is a little bit like more comfortable because there's that factor of the like saying what you think to one person versus saying what you think to a bunch of people. All of a sudden, your ideas are more solidified when you speak your thoughts out in public versus like you and your buddy just going back and forth about some whatever bullshit. So the whole public versus private debate.
Your challenge is, if you've identified with any of these reasons why I've come back, then I think you should try to tell a story. You don't have to create content. You don't have to get as many views as possible. And I would also challenge this, probably a video in of itself, but I would also challenge the whole idea that creating content needs to be an exercise in getting the most amount of views possible. You say, well, Devin, I don't have $1 bazillion. I need to get ad revenue. I need to generate that from views. And yet some of the people that are killing it the most in my personal life have YouTube channels with like 5,000 to 10,000 subscribers, and they're pushing like $400,000 or $500,000 a year, no problem.
Damn.
How? It's because they offer a product or they offer a service or an informational-based course or something like that that's based on their expertise. So say you have somebody that is really just super knowledgeable in a specific niche market, and they're willing to teach that for like $2,000.
I think he's talking about his buddy Jeremy B, who does the gaming curios and all that shit. Yeah, Jeremy B is also. I think it's Jeremy B. I could be wrong. I could be saying like a different name, but I think it's Jeremy B. Yeah, he's got like a shitload of like channels. So many silver buttons, gold buttons. Crazy.
Dollars, or let's say $1,000 per customer, and those customers want to buy, let's say it's like a specific area of law, or let's say it's like a specific expertise or something like that, that learning this skill can produce far better returns if you learn the skill. The all-in to learn the skill from a course is like $1,000. Well, if you have 1,000 clients, right, for that $1,000 course, okay, you just made $1 million.
Woohoo.
So this idea of like, I think that the problem with like content creators is also that by talking about content creation, you immediately limit yourself, and you kind of shutter this like experience into, oh, content creation rewards me via ad revenue or subscribers. It doesn't have to. You can have products, you can have services, and indeed, like,
I mean, content creation can also reward you in that. I think you mentioned it. Where did you mention it? Like, I think that's blah blah blah. Where was this? Creating valuable things. Yeah. So you can feel fulfilled when you create a thing, and I think that's like another form of reward. It's not as tangible, obviously, but it's like an internal, like, yeah, I feel content with that. Yeah, type of thing. And I don't know. I think that can be pretty important because, if you do it long enough, and you just like, if you do like content creation long enough, I think you can very easily get burnt out real quick. If you just make things that your audience wants to see versus like something that you want to make and something that you would watch, which can be wholly different. So yeah, there is that to take into consideration.
like the people that are making the most amount of money off of content creation are distributors. This includes the people that are the highest level content creators. So for example, Mr. Beast is making far more revenue for his company off of Feastables than he is off of his YouTube ad revenue. And the people that are producing the best revenue generated results are actually don't need so many viewers that they need to generate those views. So we could do a whole new video about this, this concept. It's just suffice to say that you don't need to be going for this idea. Like if you want to do this for money, you don't need to be getting the highest amount of views on your platform. You don't have to be Kai Cenat or Jimmy. You can be somebody that offers an expertise, and then you have your own unique structure or funnel of how you charge for that. And I see a lot more success with those types of people than I do people trying to become 20, 30, 40 million subscriber content creators or whatever. But you also find that like through the pursuit of creating value and by making things that people legitimately want to watch, whether it be entertainment or informed type of stuff, I think that those viewers will come anyway, at least as much as your total addressable market will allow them to. Cool. So you don't have to create content. You don't have to make 100 videos, but you could tell a story. You could write an article, or you could do something that creates a legacy. If you're a professional, maybe you write some experience of what you've done on LinkedIn, and that would help your resumes. You could show people that you've done some work. Like, this is really good for software engineers that know this, that are listening to this. You'll know that this is a big thing because a lot of software engineers have a GitHub or have some kind of examples of their work. A lot of designers have portfolios. And so portfolios are that's creating content. That's telling a story. Like, your portfolio is really just a story of the art and work that you've done. And when you think of things that way, this is why I encourage everybody to be storytellers. Insofar as they have interesting things in their life. And you may say, well, I don't have anything interesting. You definitely do.
Yeah.
I've never met it.
Yeah, that's a lot of, I would say that's more people than you think probably would think about themselves and say, there's nothing interesting about me. I work at some fast food joint. I work at Walmart. I work at whatever, like, store on the main strip of my road. I work at Marshall's. I work at wherever the fuck. I work at Mattress Firm. And it's like, I go to my job, and then if I'm lucky, I have a hobby. If not, the main go-tos are I go to my friend's house and hang out, or I just binge watch some stream service thing, and just watch movies and TV shows, and like that's it. It's like, oh Jesus. I mean, not gonna lie, I used to do that for the longest time. So it is what it is, man. Uh,
At anybody that isn't interesting. So let me know what you think of this video. You can also talk about this video. Discord.gg/Devin is the place to go, where we have a pretty active Discord. I respond to every message there. And also, I'm going to be creating I'm going to be going back to live streaming. Oh, baby. And
Oh,
we
baby.
are going to, not in like a daily basis, probably like 2 times a week, but a lot of that will be covering just interesting business and meta type of stuff. I think I better end that video here because my Discord is blowing up and I got a bunch of calls to do. So thank you everybody for coming out. I want to know what you think of this. I want to know if you'd like this kind of format of like me talking more to this rather than like a specific issue and just kind of like giving thoughts. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to be doing more of these because again, it's just kind of about the storytelling. I thought this.
Bro, I think it's so funny that Devin has kept the same background for like I don't know how many years. I don't know if this was like the first background he had, but I can't think. Every time I see the space background, I can't help to think that because of like the first time I saw this background, it was on like the Trainwrecks podcast where it was the Trainwreck Scuff podcast where he had like John Zerka on Destiny. And they were talking about fucking flat Earth shit, and then Zerka was going into his whole flat Earth spiel, and then Devin whips out this background. And he's like, "Bro, Zerka, do you think this is real?" And I couldn't help but bust up laughing. And every time he puts on the space background, that's what I think of. But yeah.
This is an interesting story to tell. So I would love to hear what your stories are. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Damn. Spitting some facts and trying to do a little bit, you know, go a little bit deeper than content creation, which is storytelling. I think that's a good idea. Everybody, like more people should do it. But you know, whether or not they get into it for money or fulfillment is you know, going to be up to each individual person. You know, like how happy they're going to be doing it. But regardless, I think it's a good start. But yeah, overall cool video, and yeah, it's going to be cool to see Devin come back and do some live streams and shit like that. But yeah, cool, good to see you, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.